Good day, all you dreamers, keepers, and reptile enthusiasts. It is me, the conductor from Show Me Reptiles and Sky High Morphs. So today we have, as you noticed, there was no intro. I am actually in the process of redoing the intro. If you are following him on social media, you know that Mike has left the social network with and left Sky High Morphs podcast, so you won't be seeing him anymore. But we are in the process of getting a new co-host, and so make sure you stay tuned for that. Um, with that, though, I am going to go ahead and give some shout outs to everybody that is out in the chats today. Mark Anderson, thank you for coming out. Then we got the boss man themselves. Thank you for coming in. Of course, the general, you know he's here. Thank you for coming out, General. Then we also have Wayne from Kryptonite Dreams. Thank you for coming out, Wayne. We also have JNS from James Perry. Thank you for coming out. Mako Morse, how you doing today? And that looks like everybody that is in the chats right now. As you guys pop in, you know that I will pull you up. But today we have a very special guest. She is a repeat guest, and you will also be seeing her on the network a lot more lately. And that will be Pinky from Reptile World.
What's up, guys? Pistol Packing Pinky here with Reptile World. How y'all doing?
Awesome. So, Pinky, how's you doing today? How's everything working out for you?
So far so good. I finally got my truck fixed, so
Awesome.
that was a 12-hour job.
Awesome. So I wanted to bring you out on the show today. Talk a little bit about your guys' rattery and a little bit about you joining the Show Me Network and that, and doing the Show Me Showdown. So with the rattery and that, how's that actually going? Because last time we talked, you guys said that the business was starting to pick up, and how's that?
It's still picking up and everything. Unfortunately, we had to downsize our collection a little bit because we got forced to bring them back home and everything, and our building's not quite done, but we're still being able to keep production up. We added a couple more racks and stuff, and it's still booming, still growing.
Awesome. And that, so from what I understand is that your sales have been through the roof lately. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Even with having to raise the prices a little bit and everything, our sales are still going through the roof. We make enough selling the rats for us to be able to make our house payment, and they pay for themselves. So
Nice.
I mean, I still work a full-time job and stuff, but I do that just so, to keep me busy, I guess. Even more busy than what I already am.
Now, exactly, because the sales are going through the roof, and that, what would you say on average month you're bringing in for the rattery?
I would say monthly we're probably bringing in anywhere between, I'd say 2,500 to $3,000.
Oh wow. So you guys are actually killing it in that.
Yeah.
And how many packages or shipments do you guys send out normally on a monthly basis?
As of right now, with the problems with UPS and everything like that we're having, we are currently not shipping anything anywhere. All of our sales are actually local.
Okay. So with you not shipping anything anywhere because of the whole FedEx thing, has that hurt your guys' business? Has that downed production or anything?
It did a little bit. I mean, we still get quite a bit of people that come to us from, Cincinnati, Dayton, Bellefontaine, and everything like that. So we still get a pretty good crowd coming through and everything. We're still in the process of working on shipments and stuff, figuring out how we can get the shipments across to the east side, the west side, or West Coast, East Coast, or whatever you want to call it, and stuff. So without them arriving already thawed out, which happened to us a couple months ago when California was on fire. For some reason, California fires affected sales to Missouri.
Wow. So
So
that must have actually kind of hurt you guys a little bit losing all that.
it did. And like I said, we're still in the process of trying to figure out, like, we've got the packaging down to a science, you know. And but it's just whether or not the shipment's going to get to you when it says it does, and not 2 weeks later and everything's already thawed out. So I
Right,
had to take the money out of my pocket and everything to pay that guy back and stuff for what he lost.
right,
So
right,
yeah,
right.
it hurt us quite a bit and everything, but we're like I said, we're picking up. We'll deliver it if we got to personally. I offered to deliver all the way out to Missouri personally myself and stuff because it was literally only like $20 more for gas than it was for shipping.
Right, right, right. And I know that your guys' production has actually been on sales, and that has been so much that you guys haven't been able to keep up. You
Right.
guys actually reached out to us over here at Sky High
Yep.
Morphs and ordered some from us. And now, guys, don't get this wrong, because we don't do rats. We don't sell them like that or anything like that. So for her to reach out to us, that's a big issue, because that means your sales are really killing your guys' production.
It is. Us not having our building set up how we want it and everything has really killed the production. And like I said, being in the reptile community and having close friends in the reptile community like you guys and stuff, that is such an advantage point in, being in the reptile community in general, like being able to help out one another and stuff. That's where we grow as a family,
Yeah.
not just personal individual, well, I do these and you do those and stuff like that. It's not like that. And I'm so thankful for you and Holly to be able to do that for us and everything, because we're not able to keep up with production right now.
Well, anything to help out a friend, and that how I've always been trying to help everybody out and give back to as much as I possibly can. Um,
Absolutely.
so when you do ship, and when you are starting to go back to shipping with the FedEx and all that stuff gets hammered out, how do you guys pack up your rats to ship?
We package them just like we would package them for an individual personal sale. We still individually package the rats and stuff. So like you won't have like 5 or 6 in bulk packs, because to me that just, you have to break them apart and you take the risk of breaking the rat and everything like that. So everything is individually packaged, and we pack it into a box with styrofoam around it, kind of like you would get uh I guess if you ordered anything fragile off of the internet, it's all packaged with, paper and dry ice and styrofoam.
Okay. So you guys use dry ice, you don't use the cold packs or anything
No,
like.
we use dry ice. Dry ice stays colder for a lot longer than what the cold packs does in our research and our study.
Okay. So you've done your research and study on shipping the rats frozen and that. Um, Now for somebody that would like to get into, let's say, starting to ship something other than animals, how would you, or what advice would you give them for shipping?
Definitely do your research, especially if it's something that's going to uh, thaw out or anything like that. Make sure that you do the priority shipping and everything like that to make sure that it's actually getting there on time. Get the tracking number, make sure you're tracking each and every step that package is being sent to and everything like that. But I mean, you, me personally, I wouldn't use the United States Postal Service. I really wouldn't,
Right,
because
right.
that's how I got messed up and everything, because I've used them before and everything went great. But this last shipment that I tried to ship out, it took almost 3.5 weeks for them to get there because of the California fires.
Right, right, right. Wow, that's
Um,
crazy.
as of right now, I only have about 8 racks, and I run four or five females to one male.
Okay,
And
yeah.
each rack has about 4 tubs in it. I was answering a question down there.
I see the general asked how many racks or colonies do you run, and what ratio do you run per bed?
Yep.
So, now you guys, because I myself, when I do my rats, I do harem style. Do you guys do the same with yours?
You do what style?
A harem style, so I don't pull the males out. I know some people rotate males throughout the colonies. Is that
Nope,
how
we
you
don't do
do
that.
it? Then how do you keep track of, let's say, the female's production?
We keep track. We literally write everything down on little like index cards and stuff. Each rack will have an index card specific to that tub and stuff. And we'll write down, what male is in there and what females are in there and like what litters, what litters they have and everything like that. And we still weigh them and everything. So like if one female had 3 pups or 3 pinkies and the other female had 10 pinkies, obviously it's about time to retire the female that had 3 pinkies.
Right, 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 right.
So I mean, it's definitely a process. Anybody that breeds rats will know that it's definitely a process and it's very, very time consuming.
Yes, it is.
Luckily, I've got teenagers that help me out. So
Okay. And now, one of the most common problems when you are breeding the rodents is tub flood outs. How do you prevent tub flood outs and future prevention of tub flood outs?
One, when I'm cleaning the racks, so we do a cleaning system of every 3 to 5 days. So we have some that are in totes and everything. So we'll clean the totes every 5 days and then we'll clean the racks every 3 days. While we're doing that, we also check the little nipples because we run a watering system like a lot of people do when they have multiple racks. But our buckets that we use are only 2-gallon buckets.
Okay.
So, and then our pans that we use are those like drywall, big industrial pans that you would use for drywall or concrete. So we use those. So they're sort of shallow, but the whole bottom of the pan will hold a entire 2-liter or 2-gallon bucket. So if it does leak, it won't actually flood the entire thing.
Yeah,
I did say nipple.
So with that, then what kind of food do you give them when you are feeding, and what kind of like enrichment as far as like extra? Because I know some people do like black oil, sunflower seeds,
Yeah,
and that
we do that.
extra. What else do you do?
So the feed that we use is actually a 23% protein rodent diet. We go with Kalmbach, not gonna lie. A lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about Kalmbach, but I've had too many issues with Missouri and other rat food that we have tried. So we stuck with Kalmbach, 23% rodent diet. For extra nutrients, we give them just plain Cheerios. We give them rice. We give them the sunflower seeds. Every now and then for a sweet treat, they'll get like a doobie or roach or something like that. They love those things. They'll literally walk up to you and grab them out of your hand.
Wow. Now,
But
besides the rodents, you guys also just came onto the Show Me Network with uh, Show Me Showdown. Did you want to talk a little bit about that? Kind of promote a little bit of your show that you're going to be having on the network?
So far I've only been able to do one Show Me Showdown show because last week I was sick and everything. But this week we'll be back with you guys and stuff, and we're gonna do for the Chattanooga show. So hopefully we can get the vendor that I want to interview on there and everything. But it's basically just a spotlight, a live spotlight, like a lot of people do their vendor spotlights on like Facebook or whatever, except ours is in person and in your face and everything, and just kind of chilling out, talking about the upcoming shows.
Okay, awesome. And now, do you plan on when you are doing these shows? Do you plan on doing any of them from one of the live shows?
Well, yeah, of course. I'm gonna try my best and everything.
And because I do believe it's June. I will have to look up the exact date, but the Show Me Reptile show is coming back to Marion, Ohio, which is not that far from you guys.
No, that's only about 45 minutes away. So yeah, I will definitely be sending or appearing for live shows and stuff like that. I'm going to try my best, especially he said no. Sorry, these comments are killing me. But I'm gonna even try to do some of the ones that are out of state and everything too. So and I'll be in full gear. Anytime you see me at one of the shows, I'll be in full gear. Pistol
Awesome.
pack and pinky.
Awesome. Now, with you now wanting to start do the live shows, and do you think that's something maybe you will start vending some of the Marion, Ohio shows and some of the Show Me Reptile shows, just to try to get your guys' Rattery's name out there?
I think we're gonna try and everything. Unfortunately, I probably won't be a part of the vending and stuff, so that way I can actually walk around the show and go live for the Show Me Reptile part and stuff. So it'd be my husband vending the rodents and stuff, because he's usually the main one that does the rodents, but he's had hernia surgery, so I've been the one doing it here lately. So, but
These comments, you guys are killing us.
yes.
So with him doing the vending and that, because I actually had another question that was going to roll into that, but with all these nipples running through the dang
I know,
comments,
right?
but so with him doing the vending and you running the show floor and that, do you think that you're going to maybe do some highlights of him and kind of go a little bit out of the comfort zone on the Show Me Showdown and
Of
kind of
course.
get more okay.
Of
Now,
course, yeah.
what did you have planned for that as far as the alternative content?
I think what I would do is just kind of walk around and like the vendors that aren't like too busy, try to kind of, get up in their face a little bit and ask them some questions and stuff and see if we can get some more people to come through the doors and everything, because it's all about the vendors. It's
Yes.
it's not for us, like me doing the show and everything. It's not for me. It's for the vendors to get more people into you guys and everything, so you guys make money. I'm just a face.
Right. And I'm going to be out at the Marion, Ohio show. That is, our home state show. So
Right.
I got to be out there. I'm going to definitely promote that as much as I possibly can. So if you guys are watching, head out to the Marion, Ohio show. That will be in June. I'll get you guys the exact dates, and you can keep an eye out on my Facebook and my Instagram for those dates to be popping up. Or you can go over to the showmereptileshow.com, go to the shows, click on the event calendar, and you can find all of their new shows coming, all their upcoming shows, and even some of the shows they haven't even announced yet. So with that, you also were talking a little bit backstage about being an educator and
Yeah.
so exactly how does that work?
So with me, I did my herpetology courses through a company called amphibiansfoundation.com, which
Okay.
is one of the top rated, places to go to be able to get your herpetology certificate. In my county, I'm one of two that have our herpetology certificate and everything. And basically what that means is it's not only the study of reptiles and amphibians, but I take my animals to schools, I take them to social events, I take them to birthday parties, and they're all educational ambassadors. So I'll take, 5 or 6 different animals with me to each different show and just kind of talk about that specific animal and what, where they came from, their life expectancy in captivity and stuff like that. And then, so like if somebody calls me and has to surrender an animal, I have no choice but to take it. If I don't have room for it, I have to call the other herpetologist to see if he has room for it. One of us has to take it because it was reported to us personally.
Right. Wow.
But
So
I just like to educate people and everything, because reptiles in general are just misunderstood creatures. And I think that's how a lot of us feel, and how we got into reptiles is we were all the black sheep of the family. We were
yeah.
all misunderstood. So we just got to bring it out and get it in everybody's face.
Right. So for some of the people that don't know who exactly you are and what Reptile World is, could you tell the people how did that exactly come about?
So Reptiworld actually got combined just last year because it was formerly known as Reptigirls Reptiles. I'm the front person of it. I'm the one who does all the reptile stuff. I'm the one who takes care of the reptiles. My husband's behind the scenes and does the rodents. We are an educational program, like I said, and so Reptiworld just kind of came together as the rattery and all the rodent or all of the reptiles and stuff. So it all just kind of combined into one. The end goal of Reptiworld is to, I don't know if I want to say it or not, but it is actually open a zoo of reptiles.
Okay. Now, if when you open the reptile zoo, do you think it's going to be something like Snake Discovery, or are you going to try to do something more like what Brian Barczyk did?
It'll be kind of a combination between the two.
Okay. So,
So it'll still be hands-on experience like Brian and everything like that. And then, there will be some things that you just won't be able to touch and stuff. And so, but I have 42 reptiles myself that,
okay.
like I said, are all educational ambassadors and everything. But every single one of them get handled every day.
All right. And did you have anything in the room with you that you wanted to pull out and maybe show off, and maybe just give us a little bit of educational experience on them? I
Um,
do. Don't you have a turtle in there? You
I
have
have 3 turtles in here, actually. I have 2 alligator snapping turtles and I have a red-footed box tortoise.
well, did you want to pull one of them out and tell us a little bit about one of them?
Yeah, I'll grab one of the alligator snapping turtles because I've only had them for a year, and I wanted to show you how. Well, you was at the show that I got them at when
Yes.
both of them could fit in the palm of my hand.
Yes.
So let me grab one of them.
Yes. Show it. Show it. And Ken, I do believe we have you booked on our podcast, if I'm correct.
So this is how big the
Oh,
Florida alligator snapping turtle has gotten in a year. When I first got them, both of them was able to fit in the palm of my hand, and now this is Bowser. He's a chunky monkey.
yes, he
But
is. Now, why do they call them alligator snapping turtles?
so the reason why they call them alligator snapping turtles is, one, if you look closely at their back, it's kind of the roughness and the feel of an alligator. So a lot of people, when they're in the Florida Everglades and everything, and they're feeling around for stuff, as soon as they feel that, they're going to think that it's an alligator and they're going to turn around and run the other way. So that's kind of one of their defense mechanisms. And then, of course, he's got his head poked in. Watch me get my finger snapped off. But they have like a little beak on the end of their mouth. So when they latch onto something, they really latch on. Yeah, they will bite my finger off. I've stuck a little carrot in there with them before, and they bite the carrot completely in half.
And what kind of jaw strength do they have?
They can, once they're full grown, they have more power behind their snap than what an alligator actually does.
Wow, that's
It's
crazy.
like 900 pounds per square inch or something like that. I don't know
Wow.
the exact number, but it's up there.
Right. Wow,
But yeah,
that is.
these guys still have a way to grow. Once they're full grown, they'll be about probably 150 pounds.
And what is he weighing now?
Right now, he weighs about 1.5 pounds.
Oh, so he actually grew quite a bit in that.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a little chunky monkey.
Oh yeah. Everybody tells me I need to stop feeding them for a little bit because their back fat's sticking out from their shell. But I mean, that's how you know I take good care of my animals and everything. I love my animals just like my kids. Like if I ever had a fire, I'd be so devastated because I wouldn't know. Like I'd probably die in the fire trying to come in and get my animals.
Now, Ken just said the bigger ones can snap bones. Now, is that true?
Yeah, they can definitely snap bones. If they get a hold of your arm, like even your forearm right here, they can snap that
Wow.
once they're bigger. And the proper way to pick them up if you do find them in the wild, or like they need to go back into the water or something, you always grab them by the back of the shell right here, right by the back of the head and above the tail, and you lift them straight up, because they may not look big and their necks may not look long, but they can actually pull their neck out of their shell and come back and bite you. But as long as you have your hand right there by the back of that shell like that, it causes them not to be able to move their head in the direction that they want to. But you cannot pick it up like this, because they will come around and snap your finger right there.
Do not tell them like you see. And yes, very sweet animal.
Yeah.
No, you also said you had a redfoot in there, or
I do have a redfoot. He's still a baby.
I love the Russians myself. The Russians tortoises, those are my favorite. And I don't know if the general has posted pictures of it, but he just picked up himself a Matamata.
Oh.
Yes.
Now, me personally, I like the sulcata tortoises.
The sulcata, I do like the
Yeah.
sulcata.
Now, this guy, he was surrendered to me. His name is Michelangelo.
Oh, he's
And
beautiful.
yes, I have a Leonardo, and yes, I have a Donatello.
He is beautiful. So,
Yes.
what is the redfoot's diet?
The redfoot's diet, he mainly eats kale. I cannot get him to eat anything else, but they are vegetarians. They don't eat, I've never gotten him to eat any kind of bug. I've not gotten him to eat like earthworms or anything.
Yes.
Yes.
There's
Yeah, they
100%.
do.
A lot of people do grab the snappers by the tail and cause damage.
Indian stars are very pretty.
Yes, they are.
But like I said, they're mainly vegetarian, so anything green and leafy they will eat.
Okay, because don't some turtles actually do eat meat in that, right?
Yeah. So upstairs, I have an eastern box turtle. I've had him for probably 20 plus years now. And he actually does not eat any greens. He will eat earthworms, superworms, crickets. Every now and then you can throw like a little mouse pinky in there with him and he'll eat it and stuff, just like leopard geckos and bearded dragons. You know, they have he has a wide variety. He just doesn't eat greens.
Okay. So when you do purchase a turtle or a tortoise, either one, because there is a difference, guys.
Yes.
Make sure you guys are doing your research on their diet, because not all of them are vegetarians.
Exactly.
Now, do you have any other animals back there? I heard that you have a super dwarf.
I do have a super dwarf. She is a super dwarf reticulated python. Her morph is albino sun tiger. I'm gonna see if I can get her out. She might be a little finicky.
Ooh, yeah. Snapping turtles will eat whatever fits in their mouth. True that, Ken. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're doing the research on the diets. You don't want to feed them the wrong things. I mean, just like with a leopard gecko, sure they love waxworms, sure they love those horned worms, but to feed them as a consistent diet is not good for them. It's Ken.
Come on, girl.
Ooh, she is beautiful.
So her name is Pumpkin. She is very, very big.
Yes, she is. And what is she weighing at for a super dwarf?
She is weighing in at about 30 to 40 pounds.
Oh, whew.
When I first got her, though, she was only probably about 15 to 20 pounds, and she was a lot smaller around than what she is. Okay, she wants to go back in her tank. She was stuck in the water.
And Mark asks, what is the snake living in right now?
The snake is living in a PVC enclosure that the side that I'm standing at right now is about 4.5 foot tall, and the rest of it is about 7 to 8 foot long. So she has room to be able to climb and everything. And this is just a temporary enclosure anyway, because she is going to get a lot bigger. Even though she's a super dwarf, she'll still get about 12 foot. But so this is just a temporary enclosure. Eventually, this whole side of the basement, which is about 20 foot long by 10 foot wide by 6 foot high, that'll be her entire enclosure.
Now, do you have any plans for anything bigger? The general
I
like
do. I actually have one bigger. I'm not going to get him out, but because he's in shed right now, he is a pied platinum citron tiger reticulated python, and as of right now, he's 12 foot long,
oh wow.
and
Yeah.
he's probably about that big around.
And what does he usually snack on?
Unfortunately, he doesn't snack on what he should be because he's definitely afraid of rabbits and chickens, but he does eat the super jumbo, like New York style sewer rats. I'll feed
Okay.
him 2 of those at a time. And he has had, don't get offended anybody, but he has had guinea pigs.
Well, I am sure that some people will get offended with that, but
Right.
you have to understand that rodents are their diet. A lot of reptiles' diets is a rodent, so
Or
guinea
some sort of mammal.
right. So, they if you are to keep rodents or reptiles, and that you got to understand they have to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, as even myself, I like I said, I do breed my own rats, and I have to feed them to my animals. And it sometimes it can be hard because they're cute, they're fuzzy, they're cuddly, but ooh, he's beautiful. They do have to eat. And what is he?
She is a Central American hybrid with rainbow boa.
Oh, nice.
If you look at her belly, it's actually got like a pink tint to it. Oh, you can't see it on the camera,
No,
but
no,
it's got a pink tint to it. She is about 1.5 years old. She was a rescue or a surrender also. The guy was going to a federal prison, so he gave her to me. Like I said, she's Central American and Brazilian rainbow hybrid.
okay. Now, when you go to the Marion show here in Ohio, is that something you plan on doing as well when you're walking the floor? Is maybe bringing one of your
Oh yeah,
animals as
yeah,
an
that'll be
educational?
Miss Pumpkin.
Okay, because that's always good to do, especially with these the younger generation, is try to educate them or as best as possible, and the
Yes,
more that you educate, the better.
Ohio.
Yes, Ohio. And so, with that, I will also ask, when you are going to these Show Me Reptile shows, and you have your husband behind the table, you're out walking the floor, you're doing your educational, and you're doing the vendor highlights and everything. What is one thing that you would like to see at these shows, as far as animal wise?
Anything other than ball pythons. It seems like everybody has ball pythons, and you see at least like at big shows like that and everything. I'm sure you see at least 20 plus vendors that have nothing but ball pythons. Bring a variety of animals. Bring the crested geckos. Bring the Leachianas geckos. Bring the reticulated pythons, the boa constrictors, the Burmese. Bring them. Like don't just think that you're just because you're a giant breeder or anything like that that you can't come to an Ohio show.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. And that's what
Exactly.
I love about the Show Me Reptile shows, and that because, like, actually, me and the general was talking out in St. Louis, is the only other place I've ever seen a Matamata turtle ever for sale is either Daytona or St. Louis, NARBC, and I've seen one in Tinley.
Yeah.
But look at the names that I just dropped. Those are all huge super shows. Now,
Exactly.
the Show Me Reptile show is now starting to get these diversity of these animals. They're starting to get these variety of animals, and they're starting to get these animals that you don't see everywhere. You know,
Right.
they're so uncommon, and that you guys got to come out to these shows. And if you
Yeah,
have one of these animals, if you have a sailfin dragon, if you have some of these more exotic animals, please bring them out to the show. You know, even if you're not selling them, and that if you have an animal and you're planning on vending, bring a showpiece. You know, and that really helps people come to your table, and you know it's gives the guests, and I like to call them guests. It gives our guests something to talk about when they go home.
for sure, for sure. Like we're coast to coast. Like
Yes.
literally we're coast to coast. So we have to have that wide variety, and not even just animals, because you have to have the plants and the soil and everything for the bioactive enclosures, and people with that have plants that you want to sell plants or whatever, bring them to a show me show. We
Yes.
we use them for our reptile enclosures.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. And speaking of plants, what are some of the plants that you like to have in, let's say, your bioactives?
My bioactives, this one here, which is the boa constrictor one, hers isn't like too bioactive, but the soil is peat moss mixed with a little bit of gravel. I mix that up myself. And then she's got the fake hanging plants, but those fake hanging plants also hold a lot of moisture. But she's
Oh,
also got, the climbing trees and stuff, and we've got isopods, or in layman terms, roly polies inside there. And like literally, I only have to clean her tank, like spot clean her tank, maybe once a month, because the isopods and stuff will be in there. Which, if you got isopods, bring those to the shows too. Any
oh
type
yeah.
of bug.
Any kind of invert or anything like that, because a lot of people I have noticed are starting to lean more toward bioactive enclosures, especially the pet keepers and the hobbyists. Um, for us breeders like myself, bioactives just ain't sensible. It's
Right.
too many enclosures when you're dealing with 50, 60, animals, and you're trying to keep them all in one room. Them glass enclosures start taking up the entire room. Now it
Yes,
spills
they do.
the other room into the house. And
That's me. That's
yeah,
me. I
that,
started with just one bedroom that had all the enclosures in it, and then it trickled out into my living room, and then now I got some in my basement, which eventually they're all going to come down to the basement anyway, because we're going to room this off, and the one whole half of the basement will be nothing but the reptiles enclosures and stuff, built-in enclosures to the walls and stuff like that.
yeah, and like Mark Anderson said, fish too.
Yeah,
Bring it. We want to see that variety. Because like I said, these are things that when we go to our local expos around here, like you said, Pinky, 90% of the people have ball pythons, which
exactly.
I love my ball pythons. I love my ball pythons. And I will say ball pythons is probably one of the things that blew up the reptile industry as big as it did. But
Yes.
with that being said, I love seeing the diversity of other animals on the tables. I want to see those sailfin dragons. I want to see those rhino iguanas. I want to see those Russian
Right.
star tortoises. I want to see that stuff at these expos, because that is what gets me excited. For example, Dix, when I got to experience something that I don't think a lot of people get to experience out at the St. Louis Show Me Reptile show, and that's the excitement from the general when he got that Matamata turtle. I mean, it was like he was a kid again, and
Right.
I mean, that's all he talked about for the entire day is that Matamata turtle. That's all he thought about. And I mean, it like I said, it was like watching a kid get their, either
Right.
dream birthday present or dream Christmas present. And it was amazing to see the general with that excitement. And it's just, and what I'm trying to say is not only the kids that get that excitement, guys, it's us
Right.
adults too. We love this.
Exactly.
So bring it out just because, oh, well, ball pythons sell or leopard geckos sell or cresties sell, and that we all
Everything sells.
right, and like I was saying is, don't even bring it if it's something as one of your prized animals. Still bring it out. We want to see it.
Right.
Show it off. You're
That's
vending at the show. Show it off. That's
that's
why we
why we're
call
called Show Me. Show
it
me reptiles. Show me your reptiles.
exactly. It's and like um is that right here. Passion. It's all
Yep.
about the passion. And that we are so passionate about our animals and we're so passionate about other people's animals. And I think some of these vendors get it in their head that, oh, well, I only have to bring what, or I'm only going to bring what I'm selling. It's because, they got that locked in as, oh, well, you can't bring your personal pets. You can't. And Grant, we try not to bring our personal pets to these expos. But if you have something that you want to show off, like I said, a Matamata turtle or, something that you don't see around here, please bring it out to the show, especially if you are a vendor. If you're one of the guests, try to leave that at home, bring pictures, and trust me, you walk up if you're a guest coming into one of these reptile expos, especially a Show Me Reptile Expo, and you walk up to a vendor and start showing them off a picture of yourself in dragon or an earless water monitor, we're going to sit there and talk to you for hours.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, we might not even sell anything that day because we're wrapped up talking to you about your amazing animals that you guys got. So please bring this stuff out. When I no longer get that feeling inside me, I'm no longer good for the community. It's what drives me to do better and be better. Always growing and showing animals first. Most definitely 100%.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. And like we just said, is that's why it's called Show Me Reptiles, because we want to see those reptiles. You don't have to bring it out as a vendor just to sell. Bring it out just to show off. All right. And that
Exactly.
that show off piece on that table is going to bring people around your table. It's going to bring that crowd. And the more eyes on your table, the more likely you are to move an animal. And it's not always about moving the animal. It is about the passion. It is about the love. The
It
issue
is.
with outside, and yes, 100%. The issue with outside animals coming inside indoors is the risk involved. We
Yep.
prefer to only be vendors showing and bringing animals. If it opens to some, it opens it for everyone, and that's correct. Because when you start bringing in as guests, you start bringing in your animals into the show. You are risking our biosecurity. You are risking
Mhm.
the animal biosecurity. And it's nothing against you guys. It's just that we're trying to keep our animals as clean and friendly or as clean and as healthy as possible. And, you know, you're bringing the animal from your house, you're bringing it into the car, you're taking it out. You don't know exactly what you're putting your hands into. And if you notice, that's why almost every single one of our vendors, we have hand sanitizer on our tables.
Yep.
And there's a reason for it, guys. But we do want to see those pictures. Like I said, if you're a guest and you're coming out just to hang out, bring pictures. If you're vending and you have a showpiece animal, bring this showpiece animal, and we encourage that. Um,
Absolutely. And if you see me walking around in, my little get up gear and everything, show me the pictures. I'll sit and talk to you even.
Yes, yes, most definitely. With that, we've been going for about 45 minutes, so I have one more question for you. And as you know, my last questions, Pinky, is more lighthearted, more fun, and that. So, for my lighthearted, fun question for you is, if there was one thing that you can, okay, let me rephrase this. If you were taking a trip into outer space and you were
Mhm.
going to the moon, what is one thing that you cannot go without, but it is absolutely useless to you on your trip?
I don't think that's an appropriate question or an appropriate answer, I should say.
Oh.
I don't know. I think I would definitely bring something that would keep me pretty occupied on the moon.
So, all right. Well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and you all have a great night. Remember, with hard work, determination, and positivity, your dreams too become a reality. Yes, the truth will set you free.
It will.
Until
Y'all
next
have a
time.
good night.